Nancy Pelosi is refusing to hold a full House vote authorizing an impeachment inquiry into Donald Trump. Now, of course, they've already begun an impeachment investigation, one that Republicans are refusing to comply with the exception of a few former members of Trump's administration. They're coming forward and they are testifying. We talked about Fiona Hill earlier this week. Now, with that said, why? Why is she refusing to do this? Now, Republicans are saying this is illegitimate, okay? This whole impeachment investigation is illegitimate because there hasn't been a House vote. Nancy Pelosi is breaking with precedent when it comes to impeachment, so we're not gonna comply. We don't need to deal with these subpoenas. We don't need to deal with any of it. And look, that framing does frustrate me because you shouldn't have to respond to the Republican framing on this. They're the ones facing this investigation. But that's not the reason why Pelosi is refusing to hold this vote. She's refusing to hold the vote because, as Politico reports, there has been opposition from key chairmen and members of leadership, as well as a number of centrist Democrats facing tough re-election bids. So they're worried about their political career. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi is much more concerned about their political career as opposed to doing the right thing, which is speaking truth to power and holding Donald Trump and his administration accountable. But more importantly, if you look at recent polling on this issue, the majority of Americans not only support impeachment, they support the removal of Donald Trump. Let's go to the recent Gallup poll that came out today. 52% of Americans, this includes Republicans as well, supporting Trump's impeachment and removal from office. For Clinton, that number never got higher than 35% before the GOP led House voted to impeach him. And then for Nixon, it got to 58% by August of 1974.
So let me talk about the polling numbers for a second, then I want to come back with devastating quotes from those so-called centrist Democrats. So both Nixon and Clinton, when their impeachment proceedings began, the support for impeachment was at 19%. So really, really low. Now, when impeachment proceedings began against Donald Trump, the support for it was already in the 40s. So more than double what it was for Nixon, who actually resigned in shame. But even then, you had to twist Pelosi's arm to no end to get her to do it, right? She reluctantly goes in, and then it turns out once you start doing impeachment, people talk about it nonstop, and the numbers go up, just like they did for Nixon. Now the number is so bad, 52%, that it's almost at the number that Nixon resigned at, which was at 58. So all they had to do was he's a paper tiger. You just blow a little bit and he's gonna fall down. And the more you put him in a panic, the dumber stuff that he does. And then causes self-damage, etc. This is so easy. So now we turn to their stupidity. So according to Politico, several quote unquote frontliners, meaning people that are in tough districts, raised concerns as well, including, now this is important, Representatives Anthony Brindisi, Chrissy Houlihan, Abigail Spanberger, and Alyssa Slotkin. Wait a minute. Spanberger and Slotkin were in the CNN piece that we showed you a couple of days ago, where they were hailed as the heroes of impeachment.
Yeah, they call themselves the badasses.
They were the badasses, and CNN gave them all the credit for doing impeachment. It turns out two of them don't even want to vote on an impeachment inquiry. They're actually the most scared, the most holding back impeachment.
Yeah.
The AOC and Rashida Tlaib, who started all of this impeachment stuff, Maxine Waters, Al Green, these guys who actually pushed for impeachment. All the people, by the way, who are minorities and progressives, etc., no credit. Oh, the legends of the badasses. It turns out behind the scenes, they're like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Well, the label was at least half right.
Well, maybe both right, just not together. Okay, let's talk about Houlihan, who was not in that featured piece. Houlihan asked if Democrats, I'm quoting Politico here, if Democrats were, quote, being fair to Republicans. Oh my God, after all of these decades, after the Republicans did 9 Benghazi inquiries into Obama, none of them ever amounted to anything. They made up the IRS thing. They went after him for wearing a tan suit. I mean, I could go on. Now you're worried about being unfair to Republicans. Why would you say that? And then have it as a talking point that the Republicans can use, you moron. And that is not remotely true. Yes, I called her a moron. Okay, Spanberger then urged members to talk about anything other than impeachment while they're on TV. Make your case, make your case. You're already at 52% for not just impeachment and removal. We already have the majority of independents on our side. He's almost done. The only thing that could prevent him from falling is idiots in the Democratic Party who are like, no, let's take it easy on him. Let's not vote on an impeachment inquiry. Look, so what is the substantive reason to vote on an impeachment inquiry? It's not voting on impeachment. It's just saying technically, legally, we're starting, not legally it has no effect. But hey, this is how we normally do things. We're starting an impeachment investigation. What would be the effect of that? There's only one effect. In all the court proceedings, the Trump attorneys are saying, since you didn't do an impeachment inquiry, I will not give you any documents that you have subpoenaed.
Right.
But if you do an impeachment inquiry, that argument is gone. So then you go to court and you go, well, their only argument was we didn't do an impeachment inquiry. That's why they're not gonna give us documents. Well, we just voted on one and passed it easily, so give us all the documents. They could do that tomorrow. God, they're so bad at this.
Serial bunglers.
The serial bunglers. And so last thing is, quote Politico one last time here, just 6 other Democrats have yet to endorse the inquiry. So Pelosi's holding all of this up for 6 Democrats? Who cares? Let them vote no. We'll pass easily and have the impeachment inquiry anyway. No, they always go to the most conservative denominator. Whoever is the most Republican of the Democrats, they say we're gonna follow them. Now, did you ever think for a second, you bungling fools, that you know what? There's also Republicans in purple districts. And you put them on the record voting in favor of Trump, and then we find out all these monstrous things that Trump has done, which we already found out, 52% of the country already wants him removed from office, that the Republicans in those vulnerable districts might be in trouble and not you guys. Oh, I didn't think about that. Now, all they want is whoever's in power now, protect our power. Yep. Precious, protect our power. Who cares about winning? Who cares about policy? I mean, the funniest part is they say, oh, this is preventing us from talking about our other priorities.
Please.
What other priorities? You're against Green New Deal, Medicare for all. You're against all the things that we want to do anyway. They're a joke of a party. The only reason we're gonna win is because Trump is an even bigger bungler than they are. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.